before it became legal here,
Yeah.
You know, when you first moved to LA, friends visit, there's like 4 places. You should see this.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So I take them on PCH.
Yeah.
And we're in Malibu, and there are cars parked all up and down PCH, right?
Yeah.
And I find a gap, and I park. I'm one of 100 cars.
Yeah.
He's in the passenger seat, and he goes, "You want to smoke a bowl before we go to the beach?" And I go, "I'm good." And he goes, "All right, I'm going to." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So he smokes, and then a California Highway Patrol guy passes us this way, and then he does a U-turn. And I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I see him come around, and then he pulls up in front. So this guy had just smoked, right? There's no smoke in the car anymore, but obviously it smells. He gets out of the car and walks up to my car, and he goes, "You can't park here." And I was like, "There's like 200 cars parked here." And he goes, "Yeah, they're all illegally parked. I can tow every car here." I was like, "Are you gonna?" And he was like, you can't park here." And I go, "Okay."
Just you.
Just you. And I'm like, "All right, man." And he goes, "So who's smoking?" Yeah. He just says it like that. "Who's smoking?" And I'm trying to not like throw him under, but thinking that since I'm driving, he's gonna. So I kind of go like, I look at him, and my friend goes, "Nobody here, sir." And he goes,
"He's the pro."
Yeah, he goes, "Get out of the fucking car." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You think I can't smell that?" Yeah. And I was like, "God damn." And I'm just looking at my friend like, "You fucking dipshit. Like, just say something." So then he takes me and he puts me in the back of his car.
Oh my God.
And he's like,
full treatment.
The full treatment.
Yeah.
He's like, he goes, "Where is it?" And I go, I really don't know. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying it's his. I'm just saying it's not mine, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay, we're gonna play this game." Boom. Shuts the door. I was like, "Fuck, man." He takes him out of the car. It's a black car. Yeah. He's shirtless because we're about to go to the ocean. Cuffs him and lays him bare chested on the black car, right? Like in the heat. And my friend's like, "Ah!" I could hear him. He's like, "Fuck, it's hot." And I see him talking to him. Then he comes back to me. He goes, "Your friend says it's yours." And I go, "It's not. What are you talking about, man?"
He just
he's like trying to
you out.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he said that. I think he's trying to.
Oh, he's playing that game?
Yeah, playing the game.
Yeah, trying to
he
find
said
it.
It's yours. And I'm like, "It's not. I don't have
So
it."
the guy in the car, the guy cuffed on the car didn't talk.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's trying to. Wow.
Yeah. And
held
so
his mud, huh?
He goes, "All right." He goes, he comes back. He goes, "I got it. It's your car. So it's yours." And I was like, and I get so nervous, right? I'm scared. I'm like, I go, is there anything I can do? And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Dude, I swear to God," I go, "I'll mow.
Have it.
I go, "I'll mow your lawn." He's like, "What?" And I go, "I'll mow your lawn for a year." And he's like, "You'll mow my lawn?" And I'm like, "To not be in trouble?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay." So
that was all you had?
Yeah, I didn't know what else to say. I was like, I thought that was a very nice offer. You have clean your lawn.
Yeah, we can negotiate it.
Yeah, man, let's work this out. And so then he opens the door. He lets me out. He goes, "You're getting a ticket?" I'm like, "Fuck." And I'm thinking I'm going to jail. I'm like, "Am I going to jail?" And he's like, "No, you get a ticket and I'm going to tow your car." And I was like, "Where?" And he's like, "To one of these like places here." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Just to make it like difficult on you." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "So just wait here for the tow truck, and then you'll just go there, and then you'll have to pay for that too and get that out." And I was like, "Just to like fuck up my day?" And he was like, "Right." What is your take, by the way? Your gut reaction? Is this horrible or hilarious?
Oh, come on. Oh, he laughed. You're sick inside too.
If he's okay, it's hilarious.
He's not okay. Yeah, I see a smile from you.
The sound of him yelling, oh, that's funny.
The whelping is
the sounds are funny.
Well, also the ting. The ting.
That's funny.
Yeah. Here's look at this slow-mo.
Oh, that's not good. Fuck.
Oh. I remember one time, small audience, and a lady, there was like a table at 12, and that was like 85% of the audience. And I'm like, just like 2 minutes in, where you're like,
gauging things, feeling things out, just kind of like throwing things out. She goes, "Come on."
Oh,
and I go,
man,
"What's that?" And she was like, "Just come on, he's helping you out."
like a toddler.
Yeah, she was like,
"You got it,
you got it." Yeah. And I was like,
wow, that's
like,
condescending.
Oh
as
my
hell.
God.
I've never heard of that one.
That's another level.
I fucking snapped.
Yeah.
And then they leave. And then the next day, the owner's like, "Did you call a lady a cunt?" In like I go, "I don't think it went like that."
When I was in Hartford,
Yeah.
I was doing this piece of shit radio show in a piece of shit building, and they're just like, oh, I remember like they had like the fucking oldest board, looked like the first year a board came out,
Yeah.
and these rickety mics, and they're like, oh, sit over here, like to wait, and they just had me sit like there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
is this the waiting room?
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, we're gonna come out of this break and then just take over. And I go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, just do like, you know, it's your time to shine. And I go, what are you going to ask? And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, just do whatever you want to do. And I was like, I don't really want to do anything. And he goes, well, no, man, we have like 30 seconds. And I go, okay, but I mean, when you say take over, you mean like I run the segment? He's like, if you want to.
Yeah.
And I go, he goes, man, last week Bobby Lee was here. He got naked. And I go, how'd that work on radio? And he's like, what? I go, did it play to the people listening in their cars? And he was like, look, man, just do, what do you want to do? And I was like, just ask me some questions, man. He was so nervous. He was like, oh my God. And he pulled up my bio.
Yeah.
And I had a fake bio, like as a joke.
Oh.
He's like, so you were in the NFL? And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, man.
Oh.
Like 6 seasons. And he was
He
like,
didn't know.
420, bro. We went on a field trip once in Milwaukee. And we went downtown. And we're at a stoplight. And this is like winter in Milwaukee, and there's this looked like maybe like a 19 to 20-year-old black dude, skinny black dude, standing at the corner, and we're all like sitting at the windows. We're in like 6th grade. We're like, eh. And he just pulls his pants down, takes his dick, and wags it at us all.
Just shook it like that. Like he had some extra drops in it.
Yeah. And we were all like. And then the bus takes off. And we were like, teacher! Miss Harlan! Like, it was the craziest. I mean, it was definitely, it was still one of the biggest dicks I've ever seen.
Right.
I'll bet. He knew it too.
He knew what he had.
It's going to be decades.
He's like,
all these kids
look at that shit right here.
Homeless people love to show you.
And he waves his dick out. My first day on that job, by the way, my first day on the America's Most Wanted as a full employee is September 10th, 2001. Damn. In DC. So I'm there, like my second day of going to work is 9/11, right? And like and so then my whole show becomes like profiling. We just profile Bin Laden every week, right? Like,
Still looking for him.
yeah. And I'm like at the White House, you know,
What?
Because we're doing pressers from like, you know, whatever they talk, all they would talk about is terrorism. So then they would send our crew to the White House. So I would just be sitting on the lawn, you know, that West Wing lawn, just out there calling friends like, I'm at the fucking White House. And then
Flexing on people.
people would be like, you know, they can hear you, right? And I was like, oh yeah. Like, I'm just like, fucking,
Yeah, dude, this place is fucking awesome. Where are you guys drinking at?
This guy's a cop. I don't trust him.
Did Boomer ever get that weed? What's the deal?
tell me a joke to you is not the thing
no,
to say.
it's not the, yes, well, can you sit down?
Yeah.
You have to work it out in front of you.
How much time do you have for your joke?
Sometimes it takes me a while to get there, you know?
My dad took me to a lunch. He goes, I want you to go to lunch with my friend today. This was like a couple of years. I was like, okay. And I go, the guy was in his 80s, okay, which is fine. But so the guy goes, like, immediately we sit down. He's like, I got one for you. Like, immediately I go, what? He's like, so a guy walks into a bar, right? And he starts telling me these like street jokes. And I'm like giving like polite, that's a much older man. And he goes, now you go. And I go, what? And he goes, tell me some of yours. And I go, oh, I don't have jokes like that. He goes, what the hell do you do up there? Your dad said you're a comedian. And I was like, they're longer. And he's like, okay, tell me one. I go, it's not going to work, man. And he was like, what the fuck?
Did you do it though?
No. The only time I ever did that was with the worst experience of my life was I did a call-in one time to radio. I remember in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I had a show coming up, And the guy's like, oh, you're going to be at the club and blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, let's hear something. And I go, nah. Yeah, he's like, just give me one. And I go, nah. He's like, go ahead. Give it to us. Give us a little taste. And I was like, okay. And I just started doing like a
bit.
Like I just went into a bit.
Yeah.
And it ended and he was like, okay. And I was sitting there in my hotel room like this, like I want to die. And then I hung up, and then people started to message me. They're like, "You're getting ripped apart by this radio guy right now, like as being an absolute piece of shit comedian."
And look,
I was like, he knew what he was doing.
We spent our lives hating these regional radio douchebags.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe we're all radio guys now.
We are. We're all radio guys. I had a bigger dick, and they go when their dick's showing, they go, it gets bigger. I always tell people, it gets smaller, because I'll see my dick at a stage that I think is small, and then later I'm like, what the fuck happened to that? Like it'll go further up inside of me. If I do like any type of
This is so ridiculous.
any type of like exercise, any cardio or something, it'll like invert itself, and I have to, but it grows like 1,000%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the other day I walked in on you and you were showering, and you turn around and I was like, damn, like you had a really good hang and
Yeah,
girth
because
on
there's
you,
like
and-
there's days and there's moments and there, like
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, it could be like that day that you came in the shower or saw me, I probably hadn't ejaculated in like 4 days or something.
Wow.
And then I wasn't scared. I was warm. There was warm water in the shower.
Yeah.
All the like the moon and everything aligned.
Scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear will do it.
Fear makes your
Well, 'cause
dick
our
go
little
Everything will.
kids-
Your body will go in. I mean, it doesn't mean that it happens to everybody, but it's a like men in like if you are actually in fear, like your testicles and everything will come in closer.
Right.
That your body's like what's it called? Like saving mechanism where it's like protect yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I remember one time we had these movers come in, and dude had like, I was like making sure that we were like in a bad neighborhood. Dude's all like tatted on the neck and stuff, and I pulled her aside. I go, my dick's so small right now, because I was like watching these guys go through our house.
My dick's so small right now.
Yeah.
What a weird. That's what you wanted to let her know. Not
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
watch
like-
these guys, but
I
my
was like,
dick's
watch
real
these
small.
guys, my dick's really small. I mean, we had like, for then it was like minivans and like, it was like 16-hour drives, to like Orlando.
Jesus.
And that was the
That
vacation.
was the vacation.
Disney.
You would
Yeah.
drive from like Minneapolis down there?
Yes. It was
That's
always,
fucking nuts.
They never fucking flew. I mean.
Did your mom drive or did your dad have to bite that
Fuck
bullet?
no.
Really?
That woman is Peruvian, dude. No. She won't drive on the highway still. Still, she's like, the highway scares me. I'm like,
It moved too fast.
yeah, she drives like on side streets. And then she's like, will you get me a car? I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
She also is like always asking for like the newest laptop. I'm like, you play bridge. Like, just use a fucking Dell. And she's like,
You
I
don't
want
get
the,
it for her?
She's like, I want the new MacBook Air. And I'm like, why?
She can flex on
It
her
has
friends.
so much capacity. No, I get. Of course, like she guilts me into getting it for her. I got her a fucking Mercedes.
Get her an old Game Boy.
I got her a Mercedes 3 months ago,
Nice.
and she calls me and she's like, "The problem is it's too high." It's like it's an SUV. I'm
Sure.
like, "Yeah, that's how they make it." And she's like,
I get a lowrider SUV.
She's like, I need to ask if they can put a climbing device on it. I'm like, a ladder? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, maybe I switch it for another one. I go, that's on you. I'm done.
I'm out. Yeah.
You switch it for another car if you want.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, man. Did she didn't work growing up?
No.
Did your dad speak Spanish?
Fuck no.
He couldn't. So she taught your sisters, they spoke Spanish too?
Well, what happened was she just, like, when she got to the, like, when they married, I'm like, what kind of relationship
That's
did you
wild.
guys have? She knew how to say like 11 words. And they're like, we had God, they're both Catholic. And
Sure.
Okay.
So they would just, I mean, I didn't understand like how the fuck this happened. So as a kid, when she was like at home talking to us, meaning the three kids,
Uh-huh.
she would just speak in Spanish,
Spanish.
always.
whether it's like to clean your room or it's time to eat or you're late for school, or it was just all Spanish, Spanish, Spanish. And then we would usually reply in English, right? So it was like a
Right.
All right. Yeah.
I gotcha.
But to my dad, you know,
Did
she
he
spoke
ever
her.
learn Spanish?
He knew like
A
fucking
little, yeah.
9 words. Like he'd be like tango hombre. And one time I go,
Tango hombre.
Yeah.
I go, you didn't.
I have hunger, right?
You didn't learn any like cool shit. And then this is like right before he died. He died like in December. This is probably like in October, September. So he's never said this to me. I'm like, you never like, she never taught you anything. And like she's sitting next to him, and he's like, well, there is one. And I go, what? And he said, se me cae la baba por tu chucha, which is my mouth drops open for your pussy. And I was like,
How about where's the beach
like,
or something?
boom, like she hits, I'm like,
Don't need to stop applying.
I
What are
go,
we doing here?
that's what you fucking, that's the only.
That's great.
I go, why'd you hold on to that?
Now you know how the relationship
Yeah.
worked. You knew what
Yeah.
the fuck was going on.